dum da dum. Dee da dum, dee da da dum, da dum da dum da dum. Now come round any old time, make yourself at home. Put your feet on the mantel shelf, well open the cupboard and help yourself. Now I don't care if your friends have left you all alone. Rich or poor, now knock at the door and make yourself at home. Dee-da, la-da-da-dum, da-dee-da-dum, pa-pum. Dee-da-da-da-da, dee-da-da-bum, da-dee-da-da.
You must be joking, I can't speak.
So I'll hold the mic very close. Have you seen anything of the festival today?
Yeah, I was on one of the floats.
Oh, you was on one of the floats?
On Poplar hospital float.
And you enjoyed yourself?
Yes, you can't you see?
Yeah, you've been singing too much. How about you, sir?
It's all right, lovely. Want more of them?
More of them?
And more beer.
Yeah.
More beer?
Yeah.
You sound like you've had too much.
I didn't get enough, that's why I'm like this.
It's great, it sounds smashing. The people that's passed here today, it's really brought the place to life.
And you feel that this is a thing you'd like to see every year?
Yeah, definitely, definitely. It's brought the old atmosphere back as it used to be.
Poplar's always been a good place, and it could be made back the same way as it was when it first started.
What do you mean by that?
Well, it's just the people. I mean, they all moan and groan. They want this, they want that, they want the other. You try and get something going. You get half of people to come, the other half don't want to know. I mean, what's the good? If they want these things, then they've got to come to them.
If you had better clubs for the teenagers, it would be a nice thing.
And who do you think these should be run by?
Oh, I think
By the council, really.
What do you think of this festival?
I think it's very good. Yeah, it's very good. It's doing a good job.
Do you know who started it up?
No, I don't.
Beautiful.
Are you
Lovely.
going?
Yeah, we've been this afternoon. We're going again tonight. We're going to get the children.
What do you think might happen after having this festival? Do you think anything will come out during the year?
I don't think so.
And do you miss the good old... Well,
to me,
are they good old days, or is it just that you miss the community spirit?
We miss the community more than anything. I think the television got a lot to do with it, don't you? It keeps everybody in.
Yeah.
Years ago, when everybody was poor, everybody was out, you know what I mean?
Well, you didn't have no telly, did
Oh,
you?
no.
Didn't have no wireless, half of us.
We had no supper.
Well, that's true as well.
This evening we've got 3 films to see, 3 films about life here in Poplar, and between those 3 films we're going to have a break where we can talk and discuss. There's some orange for the kids and yourselves at the back of the church, and we can generally sort of have a get-together and talk about things.
Taking part in the front row? Yes, I am. You going to win? Well, I've got chances. Let's Ease off a bit, ease off! Clergy, ease off! Oh, would you? Ease off! Pound!
Next year it wouldn't be so hard. I mean, we've been working on this festival for 5-6 months. It's been very, very hard work. But next year it wouldn't be so hard.
No, because more people would offer
because you get people
help.
forward. And I think when it comes to the question of leadership, when people talk about leadership, I think if you get people, as it's proved with these camera people, you can take a camera and you can interview people.
Yeah.
They showed you how to do it, so surely we've got some idea of how to lead to a certain extent, or organise, not to lead. And we could give that information to people who come forward.
Yeah, we're going to carry on from now, like the festival's finished now, so we're going to have another one next year. What do you propose to do in between to keep this community interested? What have we got in mind?
What does he propose to do?
Well, because
the idea is he has started it, and this you're supposed to build your own community up.
No, I'm one
yeah,
with him.
But I mean,
we're all open to suggestions. If he's got any suggestion that we think is a very good idea, which our main object really is, what we want is a good social club.
I think it'll be sad if all the sort of community interest that's been reawakened in the area is simply directed in getting a community centre, because that is going to take a long, long time, probably many years even. I'm not saying it's wrong, I think we do need one here. But in the meantime, we've got to hold people and we've got to make sure that the concern doesn't die.
How are we going to do it?
Well, I mean, look at this evening. You see, who would have thought that we could have met in a church like this? Who would have thought this was a possibility of meeting in here?
A month ago.
A month ago, it wouldn't have been dreamt of being possible.
I believe, you know, people have tried in the past to do something successful and they've failed. This time, we've been successful. And I think that this is the time now is right, where we can cash in on this. Not a very nice term to use, probably, but we can do, because we can show people that they're capable of doing something for themselves. Now, this was a community festival, so therefore, we had no officials from the borough, no officials from anywhere telling us or showing us what to do. We've done it ourselves. And it shows people that they can do it, and they've got a terrific amount of power.
Richard, wait for me now. Come on.
play down there then. Jones, can I come in? Can you make a tea, love?
Yes, that is.
Oh, ghastly. See how the car goes. Perhaps Friday we could have a run down there, no?
Yeah.
Friday or Thursday.
What, next week?
This week.
Oh,
John's on holiday.
Yeah, and John will be home next week.
No, my John won't be home next week.
My John will.
Oh. But perhaps you and Jane and that, and me and the kids could go down there and you could pop in and see her.
Well, to be honest, Alice, I don't know the address where she's staying.
You just
This
keep
is why
calling all the way over Ramsgate. Hi, John. When they sent that notice home from the school, they didn't put what time he would be home. If it's 5:30, I'd be going loony by now.
Mind you, I think when Jenny went out, was it the zoo? It was 5:30 when they came back.
Yeah, it's been that late before, but you're usually told, you know, that's what it seems silly, but still. I suppose as everything goes.
They're coming home by boat?
Yeah. Well, I assume so. Go put your violin away for me. What are you going to do? Go get the scooter. And pick the swimming gear up and go and hang it up. I think by being involved, I don't say I do anything big, but I can do something about what I'm not agreeing with. You know, like I'm on the managers and I don't quite agree with all the educational system. So, to me, be involved with it, and then I can do something, even if it's something that it takes a lot of time before you do get any change, but at least you're doing something. You're not just sitting back and moaning about it.
Mum,
What?
come now.
Yeah, now we can do that spin. Come on, your daddy.
Right, let's get in and make a cup of tea.
It's been good one, though. Sit up there, properly. Can we move along?
You say things up there.
Now I'm lucky, I've got the type of husband that I can say to him, oh, well, I'm going so-and-so, and that's it. I mean, Wednesday night I went over here at 6:30 and didn't see him till about 11. But there's not many husbands that you could really do this with.
I didn't bother. I would, you know, I'd sooner not have it. I'd wait to have fish for night. Because I only have fish at work, and it's not as nice as I like. So I prefer to wait.
Terry, have you found the key? Have you found the key? Well, where was it? Well, go and ask the boys if they've found it. Terry, go and ask the boys if they've found it. Quickly. Go and ask them. Well, go and ask them, look properly.
We didn't have the opportunity when the children were younger to go out together. We had need to go out and have some leisure activity. Now, I go to a club Thursday night. Club and managers meetings. We both do share these activities. But I'm shouting out, she ain't scratched it as... I said, look at that. Now I've got a big crease in my van. I said, look what she's done. You have to ask Mummy for some more chips in a minute.
Trey, come help with these, please.
Oh, where is it?
Tracy, would you come help with these, please? They're very hot.
We're not really leaders, Alice and I. We involve ourselves in lots of things. We probably think lots of things are wrong. But we're not the ones to jump up on a soapbox and say they're wrong. There's quite a number of people, perhaps Billy Pyne is one of them, that will say, well, certain things need to be done. This is the way it should be done. And they'll listen to you and respect your opinion that you want it done a different way, but they'll go ahead and do it anyway. This is what leadership is really. But there again, even political parties depend greatly, more than most people realise, on helpers. Those that are ready to stand and cheer and push along with the leader. And let's face it, if you haven't got the helpers, you haven't got the leaders.
Oh, sorry. There you go. Come on, say good night.
Just don't want to go to bed or anything like that. But it seemed it's better when either of us are away. Like when I was at Letchworth, you said that they would.
Oh, as soon as settle that, I'll go away for a couple of weeks.
No, I don't want that. I was going to put the kids to bed. No, but when you was in hospital, I mean, that was a fortnight.
But did they go to bed by themselves?
No, I didn't go to bed by themselves, but they went to sleep quick.
When you was away, they went to bed by themselves.
Oh, well, got to, you know.
I
just
all down to a fine art.
Well, you got the bed tonight.
Yeah, but then you come in during the time and distract.
Yeah, well, I've got to come home sometime after being about. No, I'm just saying that when you was away, I mean, like tonight when I took them to bed, there's Richard, he plays up for, what, a quarter of an hour, and then I go off to sleep, and he finally goes off to sleep.
Yeah, but do you think
when you was away, they just used to go off to sleep.
Yeah, but do you think we're strict enough?
Yeah. It all depends what you mean, doesn't it? It ain't that bad for getting to sleep. Except that me goes to sleep, isn't it? You know, every night.
Oh, I remember that next time, what you said. When you come down, all they won't go to sleep. They're not that bad.
Well, they're not like that, really. It's just that when you go up there and go to sleep, you get up and you feel lousy.
Let's be fair, we do run around after them.
Well, you only do what you think is right, and perhaps we do it for our own benefit, I don't know. But sometimes they enjoy things simply because it's a bit different. Like Terry, when he went to Kew, he enjoyed it because he went out with other kids and he went on a train. And yet when we take them out, well, sometimes I think whether it's worth it or not. You know, because they always create...
Well, this is what I'm saying.
Well, you can only do what you think's best. I mean, let's face it, quite honestly, I mean, they're having a different sort of childhood from what I had. And in some cases, I think they're missing out. I think one of the big failings of life is that everybody has been taught to measure success and way of life by money. Possibly a breakdown in society through too much money may fetch about people going more for values of what they're getting. This sharing might come about much quicker than people think because money's rapidly becoming worthless.
You know, you imagine vast sort of miles and miles of sand, and when you get there, there's those sort of piddling little beads. You know, is that it? Oh, yes, that's right.
Yeah. You turned it on. They spent most of the time in an artist.
Yeah.
It's an idea.
What day was it, wasn't it?
Would have to attract people to want to come to that group as their GP service, you know, primary care unit. I believe it would, in fact, because I think once people saw that here was something that really was concerned and caring about what was going on medically. But that's the only way that I can see you're going to get the sort of GPs who are going to give each other enough support to be able to run it, because, you know, I hate that they're running down the GPs that we've got now, but it does seem to me that one of the basic weaknesses is that being all on their own, they've got no support for each other. And I get the impression that here are people who are sort of saying to themselves, in effect, we would like to give a really good service, but because we can't give a really good service, we're just giving what we can get by with, you know?
If you got the sisters involved in this, you'd give the centre a head start over anybody else.
Well, that's what I feel.
I mean, you'd have something concrete to offer.
Is there any way in which one could get this across to some of the people involved in the Poplar Hospital campaign?
It's a bit difficult at this stage because you've got so many sort of different viewpoints on that.
Yeah.
And I mean, quite apart from the particular issue of the hospital, what they're looking for simply doesn't fit in with the rest of the social service community medical thing as it's developing anyway.
Being a member of a team, it means that we each of us are able to get more involved in particular spheres of work that we could do if we simply had the machinery of parish life to keep ticking over. But we're all basically parish priests. We're not so divorced from ordinary everyday parish affairs that we're just a hospital man or a school man. Different people see me in different ways. If I go into a home that I don't know, people don't know me, people do react to me in a particular way as the vicar. But there's many, many other homes that I do know personally, and I'm as close to them as I am to anybody in my life, and I think they would say the same. Looking very bored.
Yeah, he's all right. Didn't see no priest.
George didn't turn up. I don't know what happened to him.
I thought Lawrence was supposed to have done it.
Lawrence was meant to be subdeacon and George was meant to be crucifer, or the other way round. But neither of them turned up. So I don't know what went wrong.
Yes.
How are you feeling?
Not too good.
Arthritis?
Arthritis, arthritis.
It's a nasty thing. It gets right into you, doesn't it?
Yes. My sister's going to try and get me in a home.
Where are you going to go?
Well, she's trying to get me near Wickford, that way, where they live.
Wickford?
Yeah, near Billy Ricky.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, near Billy Ricky.
in the hurly-burly city life. I think that's part of my job, is to think and reflect on what's going on and to possibly interpret my theological thinking into living, not only for myself but for those among whom I live.
All right, I'll tell them. I'll tell them. That's what they owe you.
Look,
right.
have a look at this.
Sponsored walk.
I wrote, this is our parish magazine, you know, and I wrote an article about nursing in the editorial, see what you think. Maybe when I come on the, whenever it is, the 26, maybe, you know, half a dozen girls, we might arrange for them to go and have an evening meal.
Yes, remember, on the 28th, they finish their introductory course as such. Once they're on the wards, they won't be off every evening.
Yeah. We couldn't get a lift at all. We got on the motorway and the thing just sort of packed out.
What, the car?
No, well, I ran out of petrol.
Yeah.
And nobody would stop. He was sort of stuck on the side there. So we had to come all the way back to the flats by the Elton roundabout and leave him there.
Did you get a lift all right?
Well, I ran out of petrol to crown it. And so I went over to the garage at Welling, came back on the bus with a can of petrol, and when I got back, he'd gone.
So you got off all right?
Well, I assume he did.
Without his tent?
Yeah. Too long and still for too many people, they do see the church and the Christian faith being divorced from everyday life, from things that affect all of us. It's very exciting being able to link the two together, both to stretch Christian people's imagination to embrace things bigger than the four walls of the church, and also to sometimes even shock people outside the church in showing that you are interested, genuinely interested, and want to be involved in everyday things.
can remember about my family. It was good, it was enjoyable. We lived in an house, a 4-bedroomed house with 2 families. That was the common thing in those days. 2 up and 2 down. The school was part of the church. It was called St Saviour's. It was Anglo-Catholic, rather high sort of faith. My father was a good provider. He was always at work, even during the hard times. He was a carman. He used to drive a pair of horses, you know, and they used to pull the meat from the docks to the meat market. I worked very hard, he did, and all. You always went out as a family. You never went out on your own. The musical was probably a Saturday or a Friday night entertainment where all the family went.
When I got home last Saturday night, my wife prepared a treat. Well, she dished up lots of fancy food and foreign grub to eat. There were snails on toast and omelettes too, like high society. But I shook my head and I softly said, take that away from me. All together now, I want shrimps and meatballs, pocket and meals, and a ring of water dresses, with a little bit of pickle and a bottle of beer, a lovely grub and a real good cheer. Cause you can keep your caviar and anything else you please. I want a big plate of chips and cake, they're really great. Now I can't wait, put on the knocker upon the slate, they're lovely for tea.
There wasn't any